Have you ever heard of a dog so loyal, so innocent, that even after being betrayed in the most unthinkable way, it still managed to change lives forever? This story is unlike anything you have ever heard. So stay with me until the very end, and do not forget to like this video. Subscribe for more emotional stories, and tell us in the comments where in the world you are watching from. It was a quiet afternoon in a small rural town. A man was digging in the forest, his hands shaking, his face cold. Beside him stood his German shepherd, tail wagging, trusting, believing every step was just another walk with his beloved owner. But the truth was darker. With every strike of the shovel, the man dug not a garden, not a hole for planting, but a grave for his own dog. The German shepherd tilted his head, confused, loyal eyes shining with devotion. He had no idea that the person he trusted most was preparing to betray him in the cruelest way possible. The hole was ready. The man tied a rope around the dog's neck, whispered something only the trees could hear, and with trembling strength forced the German shepherd down. The dog resisted at first, not in anger, but in confusion, his paws scratching the dirt, his eyes pleading, "Why?" But mercy never came. The shovel filled the pit, one layer of soil after another, covering fur, covering breath, covering life. Soon there was silence, only a mound of dirt where loyalty once stood. Hours passed, then night fell, and from beneath the earth, faint sounds emerged, a muffled cry, a desperate scratching. The German shepherd was still alive. With every heartbeat, with every gasp for air, he clawed upward, refusing to surrender, refusing to let betrayal be the end of his story. And then dirt crumbled, air rushed in, and out came a weak but determined creature, his fur coated in mud, his body trembling, but his spirit unbroken. The dog staggered into the night, half blind, half dead, yet still moving, driven by an invisible force of survival. The next morning, two children playing in the woods froze when they heard a sound, a whimper, broken but persistent. They followed it, their eyes widening as they saw the impossible. A dog, covered in dirt, blood, and scars, dragging himself forward with the last of his strength. "Papa!" the children screamed, calling their father. Within minutes, a man rushed over, dropping to his knees, carefully lifting the trembling dog into his arms. The German shepherd's heartbeat was faint, his breast shallow, but in his eyes a flicker of hope returned. At the nearest animal clinic, the vet shook his head. "This dog has suffered something terrible. He may not survive," but the dog fought. Every injection, every stitch, every breath of oxygen pulled him back from the edge. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, miraculously, the German shepherd stood again on his four legs. And with every step, he proved something undeniable. Loyalty in life cannot be buried. News of the buried dog spread across the town, and soon across the country. People were outraged, heartbroken, and inspired all at once. The family that saved him decided to keep him. They gave him a new name, Phoenix, because like the mythical bird, he rose from the ashes of betrayal. Phoenix became more than a pet. He became a symbol of survival, of forgiveness, of hope. Children who once feared dogs now played with him. Families who lost faith in humanity saw in him a reminder that even in cruelty, there can be miracles. But the story did not end there. One evening, months later, Phoenix was walking with his new family when he suddenly froze, ears alert, body tense. From across the street, a man appeared. It was his former owner, the very man who tried to end his life. The man's face went pale as Phoenix's golden eyes locked onto his. But what happened next shocked everyone. Phoenix did not attack. He did not growl. He simply stood tall, his gaze steady, as if declaring, "You could not bury me. You could not break me. I have a new life now." And with that, Phoenix turned away, walking proudly beside his new family, leaving the past behind forever. And that, my friends, is the story of Phoenix, the dog who was buried alive but rose again to change everything. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who loves animals. Subscribe for more emotional, true stories, and tell us in the comments, do you believe dogs can teach us forgiveness better than humans ever could? Because sometimes survival is not just about living. It is about showing the world that love, once buried, can rise again.